Welcome back to Dark Nexus. Tonight, it's Act 4, Chapter 174. We're finally bridging back into the present now. It's been a little while here since we were with Dabwick and Grip, Bash, and Pandora. It's a little over a month for our listeners and quite a bit longer for us, actually, in our recording timeline here. So we'll take things nice and gently, one thing at a time here. First of all, let's just reestablish the reality of what just happened here in Kathir for the main party. So you woke up early on Oath Day, the 28th of Farast. You'll experience the call to prayer for the first time. Went down to the visitors center, registered yourselves, and then walked over to the Mysterium. You got the lay of the land, saw it was closed to the public. You also, at that point, heard from the prisoner, telling you that that which should not be has been birthed inside there and begging you to staunch the wound. Then you all went and did some spying on the monastery across the street where the stewards of the vault make their home, and you met with Sister Thyr. You asked her to let you in. She agreed to do so, despite the fact that she clearly believed it to be a suicide mission. But you convinced her that you wanted to go after Lols and Mun, and she was open to letting you give it a shot. She even gave you instructions on how to turn the wards off. What the heck, right? But she already believed Lethene was dead and stated flat out that her only role here anymore is to let no one out until the vault seals itself up on the new moon, which she seems to believe is a foregone conclusion at this point. And to be clear, like nothing, that outcome is not a loss from her perspective. As sad as it would be for the stewards to lose the library, if it seals, then nothing inside can get out and the world is safe. So that's a win. But, if you all want to go in and die, it's fine with her. She got a little excited. She pulled out some maps. She walked you through the place. But just to put a little reminder on, I think at one point Pandora was like, so you're the elder now. And she was like, oh no, that is not my role here anymore. Now I'm just guarding the door until this place seals up. Then Pandora made her vows. Do you want to review those real quick here for us, Katie, before we move on? Just a reminder too, Pandora is the only one who made these vows. So she's the one who's bound to them or else she'll be cursed.
I vow to remove nothing from the soul, nor to allow any other to do so. I vow to obey Elder Lethene's instructions if he lives, and to recover his body for raising if he has been slain. I vow to do no harm to any steward of the vault. I vow to deactivate the wards only when I am certain that no thief remains alive within the Mysterium.
So then Sister Thyr filled you all in on, how it all works, and we did that conversation even though we played it out in two parts, once before the interlude and once after the interlude. It really did all just happen at one time, and the reason for splitting that conversation was purely for meta reasons, which I know you will now all understand why I did that. And actually, for our audience, we actually did that conversation in three parts because the five of us did sit down for an hour or so to just make a series of knowledge checks for the main party on the crunch of all the creatures are or suspect are in there, as well as spellcraft checks on a bunch of spells and effects and interactions between things. We decided to spare you, dear listeners, on that very, very dull conversation because anything interesting that they learned will, of course, come up as we move forward. It'll all come out in the end. Then you all went outside, and after bidding farewell to Sister Thyr until after nightfall, that was the last plan that was left, Pandora went over to the Mysterium and laid hands upon it and did psychometry. Now, we've long established that she does this narration out loud, so I've been sort of assuming you all went to the side of the building, tucked in an alley, where you weren't somewhere where the stewards could hear you, right?
Right.
And the stewards at the gate would not have batted an eye at this, since you're now working with Sister Thyr, so you'd have some privacy. And then Pandora narrated out loud everything that just happened in the past 6 episodes, all 80 days of it. So I think we need to assume that she's been talking for hours at this point. Mm-hmm. And as we transition back into the experience of Pandora and Gripper and Dabs and Bash here, just imagine what that would have been like. Everything that we all went through over the course of multiple weeks condensed into this very compact window, and all the layers of discoveries and frustrations and indignations and panic and all that loss hitting you so much more quickly than we experienced it in our actual timelines here. And Katie, oh my God, Pandora just lived through all that. She saw what they all saw, and she felt what they all felt. It had to have been exhausting, overwhelming. Exhausting,
overwhelming, and she narrowly escaped with her sanity.
I know, by the skin of her teeth. And, I bring all this up because I want to make sure we really do honor to whatever this moment is between these four characters before we move on to all the shopping and planning and all that stuff, because so many people just died. Some of them did that in the fulfillment of their vows, like the stewards, but holy hells, what did the backup buddies die for? And was the information that their experiences provided to Pandora of the future, was it enough to justify the pain and the terror that they endured? And as you're all mulling that over, I want to put a bow on Pandora's experience of living through these psychic impressions left for her by just one last touch in on Stanhope and Neb and Stasi and Theraval's final moments. What was her final fleeting impression from these souls? We are at a level now where a return from the afterlife is possible, unlike when Ray died. So which of them was Pandora sensing was done with the mortal life? Which of them was she sensing might be open to a return, if you think they knew in that moment? Now, normally this is something these characters wouldn't necessarily know, but this is the things that Pandora does. They're really weird and special, and they give her a connection to these psychic impressions in a very different way.
Stasi, she really took everything as it came, was quick to accept and adapt. And I think that extends to her death as well. I think anything she really needed to express was probably expressed in the moment that she snapped that violin bow over her knee.
Yeah.
And then it was do the most good with the time you have left. So I think there is no regret. There is no thing left unsaid. And as for a return, that's so not her. Katie wants to bring her back to do more and to make up for what we just put her through.
Yeah.
But she is infected with seedborne consumption. That is anathema to her to bring back into the world. She is an inquisitor of Pharasma who, how presumptuous to get another shot. I think she's been ready to go to the boneyard since she joined this church and to face that judgment. And there is nothing that would turn her away from that. Nothing happened that would turn her away from that path.
So she did just learn what her path had been the whole time.
Yeah. Perfect clarity.
Yeah. Okay.
And is ready to be judged.
Yeah. There's a certain amount of peace in that, I think.
Absolutely. I don't like it.
But, yeah.
I think Theraval would definitely come back.
I was really hoping that you would say that.
Me too. I love that dude.
I think he just got a glimpse behind the veil of what he has been preparing himself for. Yeah, he's not ready to be done. He's mad. Like he was clearly mad when he died, and was like reveling in the glory and the beauty of these things he was seeing.
Yeah.
But his fight is not done, and I think he would definitely want to come back.
Okay, so
he could take that feat.
Which one?
Oh, the one that Pandora took.
Oh yeah.
You can be weird feet buddies.
Weird story feet buddies.
So Pandora did get an impression of a soul who
willingness
would be willing to continue to look beyond the veil after that one little peek.
I think Neb lived a life of desperation.
Oh, God.
And chaos and confusion. And what kept them going was sort of alluded to in the interlude, like a hope that maybe there would be a light at the end of the tunnel somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think for Neb to come back would be a really different Neb without Ulf. And
do you think Pandora is sensing more of a question mark?
Yeah.
Like the soul might need to see what the offer is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because wow, yes, the whole life was god awful.
Yeah.
But that last hour or so was
terrible.
Just from Ulf leaving to absolute dying alone in screaming
Torture,
agony.
yeah.
Every 6 seconds.
Well, even
right at the end.
Even before Ulf left, that whole story was so shitty for Neb.
Not great.
Like just the
Not
abuse
great, Neb.
this abusive relationship that he seemed to be in with his familiar.
And I love how you put it, like, how does it feel to be a flea's familiar? Yes, it's like that's exactly what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Follow.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't follow the flea. Not a good idea.
Yeah, so directionless rat folk.
Yeah. A question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, a question mark hanging in the air.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. He's waiting for someone to tell him what to do. And what about Stanhope?
You know, I had been thinking about this, and I had come in very clearly with a definitely would not be coming back.
Uh-huh.
But something about the way we've been talking about this has made me go that maybe there might be like a question in there.
Sure.
Because I feel like everything that deals with Stanhope is like a thing of like blind luck, whether it's good luck or bad luck.
Yeah.
It's not like a conscious choice that he makes.
Shit happens to him.
Shit happens to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Because in his mind, and the only way I can sort of talk about this or compare this is you all know that I train in jiu-jitsu and stuff. And occasionally what happens when you train in jiu-jitsu is someone puts a choke on you and you think you're going to be able to get out of the choke. And so you're working and you're trying to get your way out of the choke and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden you're not getting out of the choke. And instead, like before you even realize it happens, you're unconscious. So I had this happen to me. Now, this is several years ago.
Uh-huh.
I got triangled and choked. And I came to and I was laying on the ground and my friend was looking down at me and he's going like, "Are you okay?" And in my head, what had just happened was I had escaped from the triangle and then choked him and tapped him out and then laid down on the floor and just been like, that was awesome. So as the blood flow was like stopping going to my brain had somehow created this story in my head.
Yeah.
And of like, this is what happened. And I was like, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Are you okay?" He's like, "You were unconscious." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, I choked you unconscious, man. You were unconscious. And I was like, "Really?" And like everybody's standing around going, "Yeah, you were unconscious."
That's not how I remember
I was like, and literally I was like, "That's so weird." In my brain made this little story of what was happening as the blood flow was stopping going to my brain. So like,
so it's like a possibility that Stanhope could be telling himself one story of.
Well, I think at the end for him, like that was the story that was going for him was like, you know, he was dancing with his mom and in like this happy place and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's literally like I said, dumb luck.
Yeah. That's fun. So then that leaves this party of the main characters here with some great information. Like they know Stasi's choice would not be to answer that call. They know Theraval would be very eager to. And then these four people will have to decide for themselves then how to deal with these question marks or if to deal with them. I like that. I love that. Little mix of everything. But let's figure out what does happen between these four as Pandora, exhausted, returns to the present moment. Let's call it, it's probably noon now. You're tucked in an alley on the side near the back of the Mysterium. Height of the day, but you're, in this little canyon between a couple buildings that are much taller than the Mysterium, in some shade and some quiet.
I think Bash is still just kind of like stunned, mouth gaping open at like what these people, not all of whom he knew, what happened to them, and how awful, just awful and painful and shitty and pointless it was, and thinking like, is that us? Is that what's going to happen to us?
Right.
It's only pointless if we learn nothing from it.
How do we do different?
We have time. We have knowledge they did not have. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. We were kind of screaming there at the end.
She looks at Grip. We must shore up our defenses and our weaknesses.
I fear that's all I am in this. I am a fucking anchor. There is nothing that you showed us that my particular set of skills is gonna be useful for.
That's not true. You're more than your skills.
Perhaps, but you know the line I walk with madness and how easy it is for me to fall off that fucking edge.
Well, we got time.
You also have strength.
And we have ways to help you.
One thing I'm going to want to do before we go in, he's mostly looking at Bash right now, but we talked earlier about removing these tattoos from my arms. And if it sounds like we're talking about not going in right away, but we're going to do some preparation, I would like to burn these fucking things off my arms before we go in, because if I'm going to go down, I'm not going down beholden to fucking Nurgle.
I got you, brother. I don't think that's vanity at all. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Vanity, that's funny.
Does Grip think that simply the act of physically removing these tattoos will be enough?
I don't know that he knows.
Is there a check to be made? Religion or...
Give me a religion. Yeah, I like that.
40.
So, Pandora is painfully aware that Grip did sell his eternal soul to this demon lord. Now, he did do that as a child. He wasn't coerced, but he was sort of coerced. Was that him, or was it not him? A ton of question marks in the air, but she would be very concerned that simply removing the tattoos themselves without trying to either reverse the ritual or
atone.
Exactly, atone for the wrongdoings, if he truly feels atonement for them, might be the beginnings of a first step. She may think there's a very good chance that combining all that kind of stuff together could at least bring him out from underneath the eye of this demon lord for the rest of his mortal life, but that there's a very good chance that that is probably the destination of his soul. But this might be a way to change that.
Begin the process.
Begin the process, yeah.
Certainly, it might give Grip peace of mind to simply not be wearing those symbols
Yes.
as we head into this incredibly dangerous place from which we may not emerge.
Yeah.
Well, Sister Thier also literally said to him that you can atone.
There is hope for atonement.
There's hope for atonement.
Exactly.
So,
You know Dabwick can prepare an atonement as well.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
so
Dabwick brings up this atonement idea, and I think Pandora, as she's mulling over this and mulling, what she wants to communicate exactly to Grip, because for right now we're all kind of talking over Grip's head. But I think she would think that especially given what she just went through, she has access because of who she is and what she can do to unlocking pieces of people's souls, people's memories that she might be able to, like, if there's an atonement involved along with some alchemical removing of the, like, making some kind of like ritual out of this that would involve all of you, like, who care for him and want to help him with this. Like, you might be able to use, whether it's hypnotism or something like that to unlock something, right?
Got Purify Body, which, has very specific uses. But the idea of it is restoring you to perfect. So I think that feels like it could be part of it. Part of that ritual.
Maybe it's like an ending point. I'm thinking back to like that conversation we had about the atonement ritual on Dabwick's next door neighbor, and we all decided, like, you know what, actually I think she has to experience she has to actually experience this pain, as part of the cleansing process. So maybe it's like a capper at the end of after he goes through this experience to try to like put him back together again when he's done. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I will also say that Grip has been atoning and has been suffering.
Yeah.
Like since we've known him.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about atonement does there need to be another god involved? Does he have to?
No. In the case of, like, especially
what if there were? Would that help?
Well, that would certainly be helpful to try to find someone else to take claim of that soul.
Sponsor him.
But that would have to be something that Grip wanted.
Yeah, and I'm not being like, oh, hey, go run over to the Temple of Pharasma and see what happens. But he spent a lot of time with Stasi. I don't know. She's not, she wasn't an evangelist, but she spoke quietly of her religious life, her spirituality. I don't know if any of that penetrated.
Has Grip caught any religion from any of the various people that we've interacted with in any way, shape, or form?
I feel like Pharasma is probably a reasonable choice, given like you said, the time spent with Stasi, and I think that, like, that worldview, I think probably makes sense to him. But I don't think he's, like, his head probably isn't there. You know what I mean? Like, he's more concerned about just getting rid of this thing. But so I don't know that would be a thing that would happen with this event, but that might be something he would
open up a path down the line. That makes sense.
I'll just say one last thing on it that Stasi would have made clear is that a lot of people come to worship not out of an openness in their heart to explore something new or give themselves over, but because they need help. Sometimes it's because they have no choice.
And I think the fact that Pharasma is who ultimately judges, I think that would probably draw him to that deity more than any of the others. Because, like, that seems like, okay, well,
there's some power there.
I'm going to be standing there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Interesting.
If we have another day in a town with a lot of churches, I assume.
Right.
So as Robert and I were mulling over what might go into something like this, this is a sun god, and we sort of came to the conclusion that whatever you'll want to do, if you want to try to do this for him, it would probably want to happen at a midnight, at the point when Nergal is at the weakest. So whether that is tonight, tomorrow, should you live, etc. So then,
let's get off the street. I'd rather go back to the room or go someplace where we can sit. But just hanging out here doesn't seem like the best idea.
We could go grab a meal someplace and sit down and figure out what we want to do.
They do have an excellent kitchen at the inn. The question then would be, what do we say to Sister Thier before we take off? Because right now she thinks you're coming back at nightfall. Is that still the plan?
No.
Okay. And is there more conversation to be had with her now that you know what you know? Or do you want to leave her in... Is ignorance bliss in her case?
Well, I think it's important that we let her know that things did not roll the way they thought they were gonna.
Yeah, let's go tell her.
Which means that things may not continue to roll the way she thinks they're going to happen, i.e. things shut down at a prescribed time and place.
Sure.
I think she needs to know that.
Great.
There were surprises, that something fundamentally changed about how the Mysterium works. So we need more time to plan.
And also...
And she may have a job 6 days from now, or whatever. Like, she may still be needed. This may not end when she believes it's going to end.
Give me an overview here of... Is there anything that you don't tell her? Or do you fill her in on all that you saw?
I don't want to sit here and be like, the stewards didn't figure shit out quickly enough. I think she wants to keep the narrative pretty... They were expecting this, but instead there was this.
Yeah.
They adapted as best they could, but...
Yes.
Too many unexpected things happened.
So highlighting the changes that have happened because of this corruption.
Yeah.
And specifically not throwing the stewards under the bus in any way. Okay.
But that they are dead.
Yeah, okay, so making that clear.
The ones we know are dead.
Everyone that you know for a fact has died.
Yeah. Did Stasi or Theraval see Elder Lathine's body?
No.
Yeah, so that's the one she's concerned with the most.
But that, like, one of the stewards that was there before
was pretty sure.
But also that one of them became a high-powered wraith.
Yes.
Yeah.
A dread wraith.
That note about Elder Lathine, that affects your vow, doesn't it?
Yeah. If we see his body, we have to take it with.
Right.
So you are still planning on going in then?
But we're worried that if we don't, that the people that it went in
Yes.
have somehow altered the vault.
In such a way that they could have escaped, you mean?
These are not men who would go in anywhere without knowing how they were going to get out.
Or maybe even using it somehow for their own purposes.
On an ongoing basis?
I don't know.
You don't know.
But
They
obviously,
certainly had tremendous knowledge of the operations of the Mysterium.
and obviously what Elder Lathine expected to happen didn't happen.
Well, that is quite clear to me. Why do you think they had extensive knowledge? What leads you to that conclusion?
How else would they have corrupted it so?
Well,
By accident?
by the nature of what they are.
Myacnean Man is not a man to whom accidents happen lightly.
But Lowell's is a walking accident.
And has access and resources we know nothing about.
Then the situation is ongoing, not winding down, in your belief.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you are bound to bring the Elder out. Will you bring out as many as you can?
Our priority will have to be finding the thieves.
Very good. Then when should I expect you?
We're going to go discuss that now, but I'd be surprised if we did not enter tomorrow night.
Tomorrow after nightfall?
How many days do we have until, according to the clock that she's on, this thing shuts down and locks up forever?
5 days.
Then I'd say that we definitely go no later than the 4th day. But we try to get as much done as we can between now and then.
Not in front of Sister Thier.
You can easily recast your telepathic bond if you want to communicate this stuff before saying goodbye to her, for sure.
Pandora will caution about giving the whatever is happening to the goat too much time to develop.
But that was days ago at this point.
Still, it could be, it takes 2 weeks or whatever, it could be it takes 8 days. We don't know. We did not make those checks on that. So.
Yeah, it's one big mystery still.
Well, then I will wait for you here at nightfall, an hour after nightfall.
Is she a cleric? Does she have a restoration?
She is a cleric.
Yeah.
Just go through
Hell
her
yeah.
pockets and
Boom.
see what she's got.
Hit her, take her cane.
I hold her upside down and shake her.
How many restorations you got in there? Shake them till they fall out. You got an atonement in there too?
She will cast it on you, and you get 2 back.
That was for Katie or for me?
That was for Pandora. Gripper has been dealt with for today.
Right.
I'm still sitting on some though.
4. All right, so a daily check-in to let her know if you're coming in that day or not.
Yeah.
Sound fine?
Yeah.
All right. And then you make your way back through this very academic, collegiate district. 10 minutes or so around the corner and through some alleys and down the long, wide open walk back to the Indigo Gorgon. And, again, it's kind of like that when you left Archie's, Archimedes' shop in Casimir, that whole, the surreality of everything you've been through, and you step out on the street and everyone's kind of like nightlife party. This is like you've just been through essentially 80 days of trauma. And, it's like college students walking around enjoying their afternoon, college professors arguing over philosophical details.
No
in the
idea.
sun. No idea.
What's really going on.
Exactly.
Did we ever determine what was stolen from Archie's shop? Or is that still an unknown?
That is a big-ass question mark. Yeah, and easy enough to get yourself some food this afternoon. On offer is there's split pea and lime stew, all sorts of dips of eggplant and tomatoes and garlic. There is a walnut, pomegranate, molasses, and chicken stew. Kebabs of all sorts, of course. And just wonderful, wonderful drinks, all sorts of amazing teas. This sakonjabin, which is a sweet and sour syrup made from vinegar and mint, mixed with water and served with grated cucumber. There's hakshir, a drink made of all sorts of different plant seeds mixed with water, ice, sugar, and rose water. And then chilled fruit syrups served over ice. A lot of sour cherry and freshly squeezed pomegranate juice. It is an amazing amount of assorted food on offer, and it does seem like their kitchen is the kind of place where a lot of folks in the neighborhood do come for lunch because the place does sort of pack up, and there's a whole lot of folks who seem very, very familiar with Farin and Estatira. A lot of neighborhood folks chatting away in multiple languages. There's also that little bit of the just crazy different smells, all sorts of different sounds. But the room itself is kept very cool. It's very nice. And you're able to enjoy a very chill lunch there as you discuss your next plans.
All right. Who's got thoughts?
Shopping and information. Perhaps I can ask around about the likes of Mun Lols and the mercenaries they may have with them.
What's the best thing to do about my fucking brain, do you think?
Potions?
Of?
Owl's wisdom, fox's I mean, is it worth it to raise all of your mental stats, mathematically?
I mean, I think so, right? Because that
It all
Right,
stacks.
because it all stacks with
And it all helps.
It all helps
in
with
terms
the
of,
threshold.
in terms of the threshold, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
It'll keep the greater madness at bay longer.
yeah.
But those potions are only going to last for minutes. Unless it's something that somebody is casting.
So there's certainly some of those Paul can consider for Dab's prepping, but you may want to back up with some potions for so that Paul isn't stuck doing
I can
all
only
the
cast
buffing.
Owl's Wisdom, though. That's the only one I have access to.
Right.
Don't have access to Fox's Cunning or
Eagle Splendor.
Eagle
Eagle
Splendor.
Splendor, yeah. So those will have to be potions.
Unless, you can't share extracts.
Nope. Not yet.
Not yet.
That's probably looking more and more tempting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shall we go out to the woods and kill boars until we level up again?
Yes.
All right. We spent a lot of time off air.
Yeah, so what you got
Talking
for me in
about-
terms of a list?
All right. Have we actually decided on the things that we want to get?
What are you sitting on right now? It's around 10,000 when you add on all your gems
We've
and shit.
got 4,650 of cash. We've got 8,000 in gems.
Okay.
I think we want as much fly as we can get.
Dabwick was thinking of going as a wind elemental, an air elemental, which would allow them to fly and give them dark vision.
Grip has 1 potion of fly for a 5-minute duration.
So potion of fly is 750 gold.
So is 5 minutes going to be the standard duration of a potion, of a fly
For
potion?
a fly potion, yes.
Yeah. We don't have anyone who can cast Scrolls of Restoration, right?
Correct. Anything like that, I would have to
do
use
with a magic.
UMD.
Yeah.
Yep.
Use magic device, and there's always a good chance that it doesn't work.
Should we just go potions for Owl's Wisdom?
I will prep Owl's Wisdom for you for sure.
And what's and that duration is pretty long, right?
That duration is longer. Let me look that up.
It'd be like 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
11
And
minutes.
that is the most important one since it also boosts your will save.
Yep, for sure.
And
And perception. And, it's like it's good all around.
Yep, 11 minutes.
Nice. And
We don't need to get
potions.
potions of Ashen Path because Dabs is going to cast that.
That's right.
How many do you need? Multiple castings of it, or you got
It's
it out?
10 minutes per level can be split among targets, so I only need to cast it once and split it among
Which
the
one?
four of
What
them.
does that one
Let's
do?
get that in
Ashen
there.
Path.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Robert.
So it gives us all the ability to breathe air that is contaminated with ash, spores, smoke, dust, or the like, and it allows us to see through magical obscuring effects like smoke, fog, or other concealment up to a distance of 60 feet. So that's going to
Awesome.
help us with the
Great.
fog downstairs.
So that is you're keying that on the guards and wards effect in the Cipher Obscura, the third level down there.
That's right.
And either a reminder or new information. I can't remember if the audience has heard this yet, but we did discover that with Dabwick's immunity to compulsion effects, that confusion effect on that third level of the Mysterium will have no effect on Dabwick. So with the Ashen Path spell going, Dabwick will not only be able to see through all the fog, but will never turn a direction they aren't intending to turn on that floor. And then with some physical contact, we've discussed that the rest of the folks can follow along with them. If you aren't touching, then things make it a little shady.
There's other parts of that guards and wards effect too, right?
There sure are. So all of the doors will be hidden with an illusion spell, Silent Image, and they will all also be arcane locked as we sort of bandied about those effects. Because Sister Thea was able to give you a detailed and precise map of that floor, if you know where those doors are, this is an illusion you can feel through when you know that it is an illusion. So you could prep things like Dispel Magic, but of course you're fighting against an artifact level thing here, so it might just be easier enough. We kind of decided as a group to just go find them and touch them since you know where they are. And then the Arcane Lock basically makes a locked door much harder to unlock. But as Bash thinks about where he's at level-wise,
He can handle it.
he can handle it. He may have a little flub here or there, but he wouldn't consider that to be a game-stopping effect.
After much deliberation, Pandora is going to meditate for the echolocation spell, kind of just in case. Like, who doesn't love Flame Strike? But I think we're all approaching this as we're not going down here to fight. You're going down here to navigate a maze of puzzles. So the only way she has of blind sense is thought sense, and since some of these things don't have minds. Echolocation seems better. Maybe one person having to close their eyes and be led is better than two people having to close their eyes and be led.
Mm-hmm. And that is an extract that Bash already has. Is that correct? Remembering right, Johnny?
Yes, I've already got echolocation.
Great.
And Dabs
can prepare it
as a druid.
Yep.
What about the things to find haunts?
Yes. Hide from Undead, which is a 25 gold pieced scroll that lasts for 10 minutes. So maybe we should just buy a couple of those instead.
Does it get multiple people?
If you do the third level version, that would be at 5th level. That's one touched creature per level, so that get the whole party. And it keeps you hidden from undead and does not immediately end if you attempt to turn or command undead, channel positive energy, or attack any creature. It basically gives intelligent undead, which a haunt is not, another saving throw to negate the effects of the spell.
So it would work against like the Dread Wrath. But against the haunts, it would protect. It would basically keep us hidden from them.
Keep you hidden from haunts, and the wraith would always get a saving throw.
Yep.
And it would last for 50 minutes.
Yeah, and it doesn't split up the duration,
Yeah.
does it? So that's a 3rd level cleric spell.
So we should get a couple of those. Like
A scroll would cost 375.
I say 2 of those.
okay. Actually, also something like that, she could cast on us. Sister
before
Thea.
we went in.
Before we went in.
100%.
So we
Yeah.
could certainly also say, cast this on us, and then we go in with an extra one.
She would do that for you,
Yeah.
Good idea, Johnny. What else?
unless you manage to piss her off.
If I learn the Undeath Sense Extract, I could then sense haunts like a trap as well, so that we could know when we're coming up on them. So if I could find that today, I could
Copy
then
it in.
copy it in.
What level spell is that?
That is,
Oh, just found it. 2nd level spell?
yep,
You could do that.
let's do that.
So that's only 25 gold pieces for a scroll of that. Oh, no, it's 2nd level. That's not correct. It will be 150.
And then what about the mental boosts?
Yeah. So we need some potions of Fox's Cunning and
Eagle Splendor.
Eagle Splendor.
Okay.
It's like those are 150 a pop. Do we want to rely on Deb?
Potions are 300.
Is there a downside to scrolls instead of potions?
Only Johnny can use them with use magic device checks.
So the check could be biffed.
Right.
Yeah.
What about this? 2 potions of Fox's Cunning, and then 1 potion and 1 scroll of Eagle Splendor, because you could have Sister Thea cast the Eagle Splendor scroll before you go in if you want it there, and then the potion will be in Grip's possession. He can take it when needed.
Could she also prepare some of those things to cast on us? I mean, those would last longer, right?
They would.
And then we'd have scrolls for emergency in case we all get all these spells dispelled from us for some reason we don't know yet. I mean, I think we should drain Sister Thea for all her prepared spell slots that we can that she'll let us.
So you're kind of like, yeah, we'll come by someday between now and the next 5 days, and hey,
Well,
prep this and prep this and prep this.
We're having
Just be thinking
lunch.
about how you
Yeah.
want to approach
yeah,
it.
We're having lunch right now,
And
figuring
talking.
all this out. So we'd come
Perfect.
back after lunch
Yeah,
and say,
once we know.
if you could do this for us, this is stuff we don't have to buy and stuff we can spend money on elsewise.
So, Dabwick has a spell called Anti-Life Shell. It's a 10-foot radius.
Yeah, Johnny's like, don't even need to hear it. Like the name, thumbs up.
10-foot radius emanation centered on me, a minute per level. The effect hedges out animals, aberrations, dragons, and oozes.
And is it mobile?
Yes,
It's a
just like an
mobile hemispherical
it's an
energy
invisibility
field.
sphere, anti-life shell.
Prevents the entrance of living creatures. Can only be used defensively, not aggressively. You can't force the barrier on a
like,
creature
push it back.
to
Right,
push
right,
it
right.
around.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really great option there, Paul.
Fantastic.
And we need to talk about freedom of movement. I think we should all have freedom of movement on us. Does that make
I
sense?
can cast it, but I'm not going to want to cast it 8 times, right?
I can cast it as well, so I could prepare it twice. You could prepare it twice, or
I'm a spontaneous caster, so I've got 7 slots, but those slots are also dimension doors and telepathic bonds. Hopefully, we won't need to use one for telepathic bond. That I'll cast it once, and I'll use my once per day use of it instead of
Right.
using a slot. But
well, those scrolls are 700 gold. They last 70 minutes, and Dabs could read it.
I think it's worth the money.
Freedom of movement scrolls.
Yeah,
And how many?
3. Unless Dabs, you're going
That's
to prepare it as well.
2,100 gold.
I will prepare it for myself.
So 2, 1,400.
We are. I'm assuming we are not planning on buying any raised dead scrolls. We're not spending any money on that.
We have one for Theraval.
Yeah, we have one that already exists. It's assuming that we want to cast it on Theraval while we're in there, because then we got to keep Theraval alive.
Something to think about. And if you want to have the option of reincarnation available, which Pandora is able to cast, that is a component to purchase ahead of time.
1,000 gold pieces worth of stuff has to be reserved to reincarnate. And a spell slot.
Should we grab like $2,000 worth of oils to have for like 2 different reincarnates? Also including because we haven't had this conversation yet, but if one of us goes down in there,
Right.
do we want to get reincarnated by you?
Ooh, do you
Yeah.
talk about this now?
We should.
Yeah.
Do you bring it up? How should we
Yeah.
do this?
Absolutely would
Do
bring
it.
it up.
Do it.
One thing we should discuss is your own preferences. If you should fall, I can bring you back. But you all saw what became of Barnabas.
Ah.
How attached are you all to your physical form? I think for some of you it's quite part and parcel to who you are.
No, I don't think reincarnation is what I would want.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This body is all I fucking got.
Pandora looks at you like she wants to debate that topic, but knows that now is not the time.
Grip does not pick up on that.
Grip moves cheerfully on.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly big question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think Pandora might be the first character I've ever played who was a little bit like,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can see it.
Whatever, I've been so many things.
Yeah.
Bash is definitely thinking about this and thinking, my own mental state has been such that I have been multiple people. So having a different outer shell doesn't feel like the biggest.
Too much of a shift.
Yeah. But also the thought of like coming back.
If you need me to get the job done, I'll come back.
Pandora understands and nods.
I suppose if I do come back, I could take any form I want.
That's
Oh my God, it's so true.
right.
How tied does Dabwick feel like to their body now? Still, or you're nodding. Okay.
I think Dabwick's very much a halfling,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
halfling is ground zero, but their form is so malleable right now.
Yeah.
God, that'd be crazy to think of Dabwick reincarnated and then just changing
Still-
into
yeah.
Dabwick.
Yeah.
But I guess they could. Oh, it's
They
wild.
could.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it's alter self, so you can't become a Smith. No, so you would never be able to go back to your actual body.
But I could go back to being
You could be a
halfling.
halfling. You could be a halfling. Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
Just you'd be like replaced by a different actor in the middle of a season.
Yes!
The role of Dabwick was now being played
By
by
Dick York.
a totally different halfling.
Will the real Darren Stevens please stand up?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the definitive answer then?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, maybe no. Okay.
All right. We got, I like
Mine is a yes,
Yeah,
But-
I understood. Yeah.
only if.
only if.
Only if we're in the middle of the Mysterium and I'm like, you know what? We can do the rest of this without Bash.
No, just to
Doesn't
be
seem
just to
likely.
be clear, Grip would come back as Grip.
Yes,
he
you
would
would
not
be
want to come
raised.
back in a different form.
Understood.
Yeah.
So this conversation was only about reincarnation, not about
Yeah.
raising.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
What do we have for Theraball? We have a raised dead for him?
There's a scroll.
Why? Oh, just because we have it?
We found it.
Stole it from Munz. You found it behind that painting and the
Oh,
the map or something. Yeah, there was one hidden in Munz.
When you raise somebody, what do they come back with?
Let me tell you.
Jack shit.
I'm still going to say
Negative
that
levels.
anything like that, we should bring them back out and then do it.
Okay.
Unless
Yeah,
we're in a
yeah.
state where we need to.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, let me see. Here's a little recap. Here's what I'm hearing. We might talk to Sister Thier about preparing an Eagle Splendor, a Hide from Undead Greater, and 1 or 2 freedoms of movement if she can. She is capable of casting all those spells, so if she's open to that,
Protection from evil.
first level spell. I think so. As you're all talking, like, oh, what might we ask her to prepare? I think you would very definitely expect that she would expect a donation to the church for these services, but it would be less than purchasing potions or scrolls. So there'd be a little bit of money to throw her way.
Our lives are not coin enough for her?
She has her opinion of what's happening there is this is the end of this. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go in, great. But she doesn't think you're going in to save the Mysterium. That's just not.
If we're able to come out and save the Mysterium, I'm sure that she'll be like, "Here's
maybe
your
we'll
gold."
Talk. Maybe we'll talk.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So 4 potions of fly, a scroll of Undeath Sense for Bash, 2 potions of Fox's Cunning, a potion of Eagle's Splendor, and a scroll of Eagle's Splendor. No, she would be asking to prepare that. So 1 potion of Eagle's Splendor, 2 doses of Reincarnation Oil. What is not on that list? Anything else that you're looking to buy? And I'll total this up.
Do we want to blow money on adamantine hand wraps for grip?
So that would give Gripper the ability to use his unarmed attack and strike as if an adamantine weapon. Mm-hmm. What was the cost on that?
It's 3,000, I think.
It's 3,000.
But also in another couple of levels, I'm gonna strike as adamantine anyway.
If we make it that far, then we can sell them off.
Fair enough.
Right now we're at 6,050 gold pieces.
Is that including the hand wraps, or is that before the hand wraps?
Before the hand wraps.
So that would put us at 9.
And as I'm looking at... So Gripper was saying that he wants to try to tend to this matter of his soul before going in. As I'm looking at the atonement spell, we're in kind of a little gray area here between someone who willingly chose something and someone who was forced to do something. So I would not require the full 2,500 gold pieces worth of offerings. I think I would say 1,000 would cover it in this case. You already have the beads. I think you bought a focus component that is reusable, but there is a non-reusable piece that would be about 1,000 gold pieces. So if you add the hand wraps and that in, you're looking at 10,050 gold pieces for what we've discussed.
I say let's do it.
Yep. And let me before we put a final bow on that, let me just quickly calculate what she would ask for the spell casting here. 1,400 would be a reasonable donation for all of that stuff. So you'd be looking at 11,456. That is something you can cover. Mm-hmm. That is all reasonable within her ability to cast. Let's go ahead and assume that she will agree to do that for you. Mm-hmm. So then, as the afternoon moves along, you have this conversation over lunch, figure out what it is. Oh, what about restorations? Any of that you want to buy?
So we can get one?
Yep.
Great. 1 scroll of restoration. Why don't you put that on Bash's sheet, since that's the person who can
cast it.
So we're down to 494.
How much is this lunch going to cost?
It's strangely, it's 500 gold
so
pieces.
Good. We have to wash dishes on our last day.
Yeah, we've already covered the cost of the room. We'll assume that covers lunch here, and we'll worry about that off screen. So then, after this conversation, the afternoon will be spent doing some shopping. We can assume Pandora makes a trip back to the Mysterium, since it's so close, to ask Sister Thea of this, to make a plan for the spell casting. Are we going to give her a day here? Are we talking about tomorrow night, or are we still going to be on a hold here?
I think it should be tomorrow night.
Okay.
But
I think it should be once we got stuff knocked down.
So planning for tomorrow night, but barring things going wrong, it may have to be the next day.
If we want to give Pandora 1 full day of doing absolutely nothing and maybe getting some counseling from Dabs, that could be tomorrow's activity, then you go in the next day. That would knock off a whole bunch of sanity damage without spending any money.
Yeah.
That just means sitting still for a day.
Great, let's do that.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. At the tail end of this first day here, we can assume that all of that shopping goes very easily. These are, for the most part, relatively low-level items in a very, very large city.
We have time for information gathering in the evening.
What kind of information do you think you can gather?
Regarding any sightings of Lowell's Mun or the mercenaries?
Yeah, that was something that I had been interested in and whether or not we could go and check and see if they had checked themselves in, and if so, where they might have said they were staying.
There's a disconnect, right, between them gathering these mercenaries and going into the Mysterium alone, and kind of see if that's a loose end, a loose thread that we might pull.
Although you can't pull it because you gotta relax, right?
Well, let's say Pandora can do some talking tonight.
Okay.
We can save Bash going down to check in about registration tomorrow while Pandora is taking the day and Dabs is doing some counseling. And then do we want to try to do Gripper's thing tonight?
Yeah, I think especially if there's a day in between, I think let's do that now and get that done.
Fantastic. So we have this meal. We get all of our arrangements together. Some shopping in the afternoon. Dabwick does their meditation that evening. We spend over the course of the evening after dinner, making our way through the market and poking around, asking questions to see if anybody has any rumors or anything they may have noticed about Mun or Lols. This can be a diplomacy check. And actually, since we're taking time here to do this, this can also be a knowledge local on Bash's part if you wish. What'd you get for diplomacy there, Katie?
32.
And what does Bash get for knowledge local?
13. It's about right, considering that I haven't actually clipped into anything here.
It's a new city. Let's see.
Honestly, I think Dora's fitting in here really well. She really likes this place.
Yeah, and she's remarkably fluent at the language, which is a huge initial barrier for some people. I like the whole vibe and all the outsiders.
Yeah.
She
just really feels at home here.
So there is very little for Pandora to learn, but I think she is able to, by very carefully framing her questions, maybe a little bit of detect thoughts thrown into the mix, because we know that she's found that to be occasionally useful, a little bit of detecting psychic significance to ask the right questions to get people to open up. Yeah. So as you bring up Lol's and Mun's description, and you mention the existence of a mercenary party, and you have a very loose description of this Thala of House Cato, basically an angry-looking woman with real spiky armor, I think is about the extent of what you know. You are able to, from some local folks, get some verification of, that description rings a bell. I feel like, a week or two ago, I saw people like that in the area. Have not seen them around since, and they probably would know. You do a little bit of pressing, and you can kind of verify that after the day that everybody went into the Mysterium, the day that all your friends died, was basically the last time that anybody recalls having seen any of these people around. And in fact, maybe even a few days before that in the case of the mercenaries. But as you're stopping by to talk to Sister Thier as well, and she can lay out for you, what she knows of the timeline.
Yeah.
That basically Mun appeared on the 19th, which was about 9 days ago. Met privately with Elder Lathine. Something passed between them that she does not know of, and Elder Lathine was very quiet about. But then, in the time since then, when Sister Thier has had access to more of the books and what's going on financially with the Order, it seems as though the Stewards of the Vault as an organization was nearly out of money. And notes of a sizable donation being made for, air quotes, unfettered access was brokered by Elder Lathine. And then the next day, Mun went in with who you would learn as Lols. She was never introduced to him. And this group of mercenaries, they spent the whole day in there and overnight, and all of the next day. And then that third day, Mun and all of the mercenaries came out, but Lol stayed in a whole other day overnight. And then on that next morning, which is the 22nd, Mun returned, and Sister Thea recalls there being a confrontation between Elder Lethine and Mun. Brother Ibrahim had heard part of the conversation, essentially kind of like, how long are you staying? What is it you're working on? Unfettered access. Yes, 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 but there are limits. And it sounds like Elder Lethine put his foot down. You must leave tonight. Mun went in, came out with Lols, and they left. Then the day that everything went down, the 23rd, Lols came alone, met with Elder Lethine, then went across the street into the Mysterium. Mun came racing up, found out that Lols had gone back in, and went in after him. And then that's basically when the backup buddies arrived. So Lols had been there many days by himself. Mun and the mercenaries were in there a little bit at the beginning and then left. And then when they'd been told to clear out, they cleared out. But then Lols came back, Mun came racing back, Mun came racing in after him, and then nobody has come out since then. That's basically what the stewards know.
So the wards weren't triggered until Mun came rushing in.
Correct.
And sometime after that.
Very shortly after that.
So again, it feels like Lols is like pushing, and Mun is like more patient and taking his time and stuff, and Lols is like, no, it's going to happen now.
That last day, they were on different timelines, and one was chasing the other.
The mercenaries haven't shown back up.
Correct.
Like, where are our guys? Like, they're either staying away or they did a walk by and check things out unobtrusively, and
nobody noticed.
They
didn't make a big deal of themselves. Or, there may be high level and have access to illusion magic or whatever. Yeah. And then that night, at midnight, where does Gripper want to gather the pals to tend to this? Do you want to do this in your room? Do you want to go outside somewhere?
I think in the room.
In the room?
Not knowing what, is exactly going to happen. I don't think he wants to be out in public.
Yeah. So we clear some space inside of the room that it had been Bash and Grip in one room, and the other two across the hall, putting the hair on the door. So we clear some space in Bash and Gripper's room.
We push the beds off to the sides.
Yeah. Feeling a little eerily like the night in Lulwyn's place where you had to clear all the furniture.
That's literally what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh, another mirror.
And we know that there's, from the last time that Dabwick had done this atonement, just a couple days ago in Casimir, there's burning of incense involved, lighting of candles, praying over beads. Well, Bash is working to get together the right kind of mixture of alchemical acid that will, burn the tattoos off and not melt through his arm and dissolve him away. Give me an alchemy check there just to see what you get there, Johnny.
Oh, like butter. It's a 46.
Oh, wow. Okay, so remarkably expert at this. So after mixing up all of his solutions and preparing his materials and tools, we get Grip on the ground as this atonement begins being cast by Dabwick, gripping the beads and with your offerings prepared. And this is a different thing than what you did for Tess. In that case, it was something that was entirely against her will, and she was kicking and screaming and fighting. And this is something that Gripper's walking into voluntarily, but trying to wrestle with, an act of selling his soul to a demon. For Dabwick, as you're sitting down watching what then has to be this gruesome process unfolding of burning away a whole layer of Gripper's skin down each of his arms.
I think Dabwick looks at Grip and says, I see you. I know you. And the child that had this happen to them deserves another chance. This isn't you anymore.
I hope that's true.
The child. Yeah, and you said the hypnotism?
I was just thinking that. But I just listened to the other atonement, and one of the things that came up was they have to go through it. it has to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do the hypnotism element, it can't be to distract from the pain or what's happening or to run from choices that were made, whether coerced or not.
And that's not him anyway.
But to delve into it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
To commune with the pain in order to...
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like to go back to the point where he was when he made that decision in the first place?
Yes.
All right. It's what, diplomacy is the check?
Diplomacy, and I'm trying to figure out if I can add anything, if I can do anything to add to it.
So in the past, you've had her... We've sort of leveraged detecting thoughts into a +2 bonus on a sort of skill challenging kind of thing, which is a little how I've decided to approach this.
Yeah.
If you are comfortable reading Grip's mind,
yes,
then I think you could leverage that for a +2.
She has been so many people that I think she is more than comfortable sinking into who Grip used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing it.
And is Grip comfortable not resisting her climbing up in there?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone he would trust wholeheartedly to do such a thing, it would be Pandora.
Awesome. All right, the DC for this is going to be, what is Gripper's will save modifier?
Oh, thank God. It would suck
against mind-affecting effects.
+7.
So DC 27 on a diplomacy check.
You can take off your cloak.
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's cheap, but why not? Why wouldn't you do it? So 26.
Yeah, so 6.
Why would you not, right?
Great, then I have a +22.
Oh, great.
With the detect thoughts bonus.
Mm-hmm.
31. I really was like, Roll20 hates me lately, so.
So then, this incredibly heightened experience for Gripper where he's having this brutally painful thing being done to him. And this calming, suggestive chanting from Pandora that's usually used to pull one's mind away from something is actually forcing Grip's mind deep into the pain, and specifically deep into this idea of the child that he once was. And Robert has prepared a little something for us here of a place where Gripper's mind goes if we succeeded at all these checks.
So yeah, as the words are being bandied around him and the pain is sinking into his arms, he is brought back to a memory that he had, whether intentionally or not, has just obliterated. The runt couldn't believe he'd gotten away with this for 2 days. For 2 days, he hid behind these barrels of oil and who knows what else, while Fargrid had his lessons with Gramush, the tribe's shaman, and a harsh master he was. Fargrid was learning of the binding. The runt didn't really understand what it meant, but Fargrid was to be sequestered in this tent for 3 days, while Gramush taught him. When he learned that his brother would have to spend 3 nights here, he begged that he be brought along. He couldn't stand to be with the rest of the tribe if Fargrid was not there to protect him. And he was small, and he would hide and not make a noise, and he would just watch, and then the runt would be there when Gramush left, and he'd keep Fargrid company, and until Fargrid relented. They found him a place behind the barrels, some filled with water, some with a strange oil, and he hunkered down. And Gramush never seemed to notice. The runt still didn't really understand much, but he could tell that there were tattoos that had something to do with a sun god and strength and power, and he liked the sound of that. For 2 days, he watched as Fargrid had little bits of a pattern tattooed on his arm, while strange words were said, just a little bit each day. Blood in the ink is what secures the binding, Gramush said. Without the blood, this is all just noise. The 3 knoll corpses, drained of blood, were stacked in the corner of the tent, the odor of decay winning out over the quicklime. The fact that they were kept to the corner outside the direct sunlight coming through the flap on top of the tent was the only thing that kept the air inside bearable. But it looked like it hurt. It looked like it hurt a lot more than such a little needle should. Then on the third day, Gromish was adding the largest piece of the tattoo to Fargrid's arm he had yet. It seemed like he was working on the same area over and over and over, and the runt could tell that Fargrid was in agony. Fargrid let out a gasp, and before the runt could stop himself, he burst out from this hiding place and said, "No, please, stop!" Gromish stopped what he was doing, turned his head towards the runt, and stared through him to the core. Then, to Fargrid, "Did you bring this pup with you?" A pause. "Yes," Fargrid said, "but I—" Gromish backhanded Fargrid hard across the jaw. "Quiet!" The shaman walked over to the runt. "You want me to stop, runt?" The runt started to nod yes, but the backhand cuffed him at least as hard as it did his brother. Gromish walked to a chest full of different bottles, picked up a round green one. He then returned to Fargrid, set the bottle down next to him, and said, "You're not ready. You're still a fucking child." Then he started saying words that the runt could not understand. They were repetitive, and they sounded similar to the words that were being said while the tattoo was being applied, but different. Perhaps spoken backwards? It was beyond the runt's understanding as he watched, rapt, as the words spilled out of the shaman's mouth. Gromish reached over, unstoppered the round green bottle, held Fargrid's arm down on the stone table, and poured the thick black liquid onto the tattoos that had been created during the 2 days before. Fargrid howled in pain as the layers of flesh containing the ink melted away. Just as this chemical burn got deep enough to remove the ink, the shaman dunked his hand into one of the oil barrels and smeared the oil across the acid, neutralizing it, leaving red, wet, exposed flesh. Gromish picked up the huge cat-o'-nine tail whip, the lashes embedded with salt and blood, the last part of the ritual. It was what was to come next for Fargrid. But that was ruined, the runt realized. Gromish walked right up to the runt, the lashes of the whip dangling directly in front of his face. The runt could smell the blood and salt. "Is there anything you don't fucking ruin, runt?" He slammed the child across the face with the handle of the lash and walked out. Fargrid continued to howl in pain as blood ran from the runt's split lip.
Awesome. So Gripper is seeing this, reliving this for the first time in decades, and because Pandora is inside of his head, she is seeing it, and she is hearing his mind speak these backwards words of an undoing ritual that Grip as a child did not understand, Grip as an adult does not understand, and this is such weird-ass demon magic that Pandora doesn't understand it either, but with her, 20-whatever intelligence and being right inside there. So the two of you, Bash and Dabwick, see her get that, cock her head to the side, sort of look off into space thing, and then suddenly she turns over, and in this voice that sounds like an adult male orc speaking to a demon backwards, starts chanting these words. And I can see her being able to do this while also like snapping over to Bash like oil, 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 and starts between the chanting of this ritual describing to Bash what she saw the shaman doing. It's not simply a matter of using the acid. You have to also use this oil in this very certain way. And Bash, with the 40 whatever alchemy check that you just made there, Johnny, can grasp what's being described to him. Is he going to go ahead and...
Absolutely.
So as Dabwick is praying and Grip is writhing in agony, reliving this, and Pandora is speaking orc demon shit out of her mouth, and Bash is melting his flesh off and then smoothing away the burnt red layer that was left over, this process goes on for several hours of excruciating agony. And as this is winding up, as Grip is, of course, on some whole other level of pain and memory and agony here, but what What is he trying to focus on?
I mean, I think it's a lot of his brother.
Yeah.
It's the memory of that one protector that he had in that part of his life. And I think he's torn between, well, did I save him from something or did I doom him to something? He's not sure what that is. Mm-hmm. But I think Fargrid is kind of the lodestone he focuses on during this.
And then after 2 hours, I mean, there's going to be an excruciating recovery period afterwards, or not, thanks to a certain spell.
Purify Body.
Purify Body is cast after Grip goes through the wilderness. You all pull him out, cleanse his flesh, and the tattoos are gone. That's the end of chapter 174. We'll pick up next time.
Nice.
Dark Nexus is produced by Plug and Hum Productions. This podcast uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated, used under Paizo's fan content policy. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. That's Paizo.com. Dark Nexus uses music and soundscapes by Syrinscape. Check them out at Syrinscape.com. That's Syrinscape.com. Opening and closing themes, along with additional music composed by Rob Kauzlaric. Artwork for Dark Nexus is by Matt Wahlquist. And thanks to DMCP, Richard and Ari, Paul and Shannon, Scotty, Jason, Jess, Joe, Chelsea, Matt, Dave, Derek, Darren, Michaela, J.H., the Biscuit Buddies, and everyone we've gamed with over the years for all the memories and inspiration.
Oh, I don't want to look at the blood. It makes me oozy. Oozy? Oogie. Oozy.
Woozy? Woogie.
Woogie.
I just don't like it.
Turns me into a Wookiee.